What up? What up? Welcome back to the JTS show with your boy Jay. Listen, man, I watched Donald Trump's comments to the Boy Scouts of America, the Boy Scout Jamboree. And I gotta tell you, it was one of the most disgusting things I have ever seen. As the parent of a 8-year-old Cub Scout who honestly is evaluating whether I want my son to move forward with Weeblos and then with Boy Scouts, I was just really saddened, if nothing else, by watching this guy just get out there and just basically just perform like an asshole. I mean, there's no nicer way of saying it. Bear in mind, Boy Scouts of America, you're talking 10-year-olds, roughly maybe 11-year-old to 18-year-olds. And of course, there are scout leaders there as well. Jamboree, as I understand, there were about 40,000 people present for the president's speech. I will give him credit for one thing, which is one showing up. Barack Obama did not over the 8 years that he was in office. I'm not really sure what the purpose of that was or the reasons for it were. But, again, I guess I do give the president credit for showing up. But that's it. That's all I give him credit for, because everything else, boy, if you want to talk about setting a poor example for our kids, where to even begin? This guy gets up, he tells a story about one of his friends who bought a yacht, and then he cuts the story short, and it's obviously understood that he's talking about the friend got a yacht so he could basically fuck a lot of Russian strippers, I'm assuming. And then he says he's not going to make the speech political, but of course it turns into a political speech. He kind of goads the kids into booing Barack Obama and getting rid of Obamacare. He is still obsessed with this whole thing with whether, winning the electoral college. This guy is just, he's unhinged. He really is. There's no other way to put it. There's no nicer way to put it. And I really feel bad for the scouts that were there in attendance. Now, to be sure, there were some people who were cheering. And my understanding is also that, leading into this, the scouts were instructed to treat the president, basically to kind of treat him, basically not to boo. That's a nicer way of putting it. They told the scouts, do not boo, just respond accordingly, which is a nice way of basically saying, hey, follow along with what it is that he's saying. If he says something that you don't agree with, be quiet. If he says something you agree with, then, be cognizant and be respectful of other people around you. One thing I also got to say is, if you're watching the video or the audio and you listen to the audio, it does sound like a lot of people cheering, but bear in mind, this is 40,000 freaking people. So if you got 2,000 people out of 40,000 cheering, that's a lot. It's going to sound loud. So that is in no way indicative of the scouts as a whole being okay with this. I want to be clear about that. But I just still say it's just sad, man. It's a sad day in America when the bar is this low. I remember in 2009, once Barack Obama took office, he was basically going to deliver a maybe it was recorded, maybe it was live, I don't remember, address to kids basically returning to school that year. And there were all types of cries of indoctrination and, why is he trying to basically turn these kids into Obama files and, all types of ridiculous shit. And of course, the speech itself was nothing. It was just a basic welcome back to school speech. I think it was actually pre-recorded in the end. It was just a basic welcome back to school speech and, hey, do good and listen to your parents. Basic stuff that a decent human being would tell kids. Nothing that I saw on display at that scout rally would be confused with being decent, period. There was absolutely nothing decent there. It was a disgusting human being, once again, taking out his insecurities or basically putting his insecurities on display for a bunch of children who really were not there for that. Scouting is not about that at all. It's not political at all. It is basically teaching kids leadership. It's teaching them how to fend for themselves, out in the wild. It is somewhat militaristic. I'll be honest about that. That's one observation I made, as a parent with a kid who's been in Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts rather for 1 year. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay because I think it gives the kids discipline. And basically all the tenets of Boy Scouting, loyalty, trustworthiness, cleanliness, decency, dignity, respect for country. None of those things were on display Monday. None of them. Not a single one. You basically just had a grown-ass man, projecting his insecurities onto a crowd of kids. And that is really, really sad. For all those on the other side of the political aisle who basically roasted again Barack Obama for indoctrinating kids and, Michelle Obama for indoctrinating kids by merely asking them to eat vegetables and work out a few times a week. You guys should be really, really, really disgusted with yourselves right now. And it would be nice if you just admitted that this was a mistake. Electing this man was wrong. It was a mistake. You guys fucked up. It'd be nice if people just own that and we can move forward as a country. But that's not going to happen. Of course it's not. Because, of course, that would be too much like right, period. And if there's anything that those on the right side of the aisle are not, it is right. Donald Trump, if you got any sort of dignity, be ashamed of yourself, bro. This was disgusting. Do better. You're the president of the United States. You are not a stand-up comedian. You are not a schoolyard bully. Stop it.